If the turtles aren't careful, the start of this guy's ecstasis may be the start of their extinction. Here's your look at the Mattel Turtles of Grayskull. King Hiss, mutated disguise leader of the Snake Men. Universe, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles worlds collide in the new Turtles of Grayskull line of figures by Mattel. The figures in this collection stand 5.5 inches tall and have 16 movable joints, so they're highly posable for imaginative and action-oriented fun. Sending in the soldier that slithers before we get a closer look at the Turtles of Grayskull King Hiss. We'll take the tape measure as we usually do, and we'll see how tall the figure stands. Not really sure, though, how King Hiss's backstory works. I'd be safe to assume that he's probably posing as a foot soldier, and not that every foot soldier under the wing of the Shredder happens to be able to turn into King Hiss. It's probably like a one character that does that. He just, again, happens to be posing currently as a foot soldier. With that still not making much sense to me. We're going to still take, though, the tape measure, and hopefully what will make more sense is just how tall the figure is going to stand. According to the tape measure, he's going to be about 6¼ inches in height, or roughly 15½ centimeters tall. Speaking of the kitchen utensil, here's what the figure looks like along with the Shredder. While we're also at it as well, let's bring in some of the other Turtles of Grayskull figures. Now, this line also has come to a close. We're moving now our focus to the Motu Thundercats line, and I'm definitely looking forward to collecting those, being a big fan of both Thundercats and Master Universe. In the meantime, though, while I've been yammering on away, I brought in the Shredder, I brought in Krang. Let's bring in Two Bop Steady. Let's also bring in some other figures as well that change their appearances. Not only did we have that with Ninjor, but we also had that as well with Ratlore. The figures as a whole, again, like they vary, they range from different designs, different looks, different colors. The thing that's consistent, though, and probably something you've noticed here on this channel, I'm definitely geared more towards collecting the bad guys. They've certainly been more interesting than the turtles themselves. Molting some movable parts, King Hiss does come included with quite a lot of snake parts. Now, really, even though the figure comes out of the packaging with his snake form already present, there's no mystery, there's no surprise at all. I did kind of want to start the review working backwards. I wanted to kind of transform him first to a foot soldier, and then we would eventually turn him into King Hiss. I don't know why I'm really making hand gestures like that. Before we, though, do that, let's look at some of the other things that come included with it. One that will be discarded right away, the paper pamphlet, of course, is there as well. Just to tell you, though, that the top half and the bottom half of King Hiss can then be swapped around with other Origins figures. Cartoon collection figures, I think, also work the same way as well with the ball joints. Either way, though, this will be discarded quickly. Whew, off it goes. It doesn't come included with a mini comic, though, what we get instead. And with most deluxe figures, we've tended to have gotten these index cards. Shows you on both sides. So again, like, he's probably posing as a foot soldier. I know I'm spending more time than it's necessary to really kind of figure out what exactly is going on with King Hiss. But if I'm looking at this correctly, King Hiss is the main guy, right? And then, of course, you've got the foot soldiers on either side. They're just regular automated automatons. They're not going to be doing anything other than following the lead. Now, would they follow the lead of the Shredder? Or would they follow, though, King Hiss, who was formerly looking like either one of them? Do we really even care? Do we even care about the yammerings of this magic storyteller behind the camera? I don't know. Either way, though, on the back, though, of the index card, this is the Reptile Wars. King Hiss, it does indicate he's a mutated disguised leader of the Snake Men. King Hiss, interstellar conqueror, master of disguise, who sheds his skin to reveal his true fanged form. Poison can control the minds of mortals as they change into snake men. Snake Foot Soldier, though, is the masked minion of Shredder's army, venomized with the strength of the Snake Men. I hold on to these for now. I don't know if my long-term plan is to actually keep these or just to put them back in the recycling bag with all the other little pamphlets that we get from time to time. Again, some of these I've held on to, other ones I've gotten rid of. I think for right now, I like the look of the artwork. I'm going to hold. I'm going to cherish this for at least the moment. We're going to put that off to the side. Okay, so with the Foot Soldier, we actually get ourselves snake parts. Obviously, with King Hiss, we get some parts over here that are all in gold. On the other side, we get some parts here that are all in green. You have to disassemble everything and then put them together. But before they do that, though, let's actually have a closer look at the Foot Soldier. Now, I want to tell you, though, I don't actually have a King Hiss in my collection. If I did, from the Origins, I would have brought one in. It still is one of those figures that, like Randor, King Randor, for one reason or another, I just kind of had missed not collecting that one. And I know unlike Randor, who got a re-release, I think King Hiss, the original Origins, is still one that you can only get the original version, and he's going for a little extra money online. A similar style of armor, though, in the fact that you're going to be having to take the armor off. You're going to also have to remove these arms, too. I'll show you how everything comes off in a moment. The head sculpt, though, definitely does read very much like a foot soldier. The only thing that's really now different is they've also added a little fang piece right above the top of, I guess, well, right below his eyes. Instead of having, though, the traditional foot soldier, we get something that actually, as a Canadian, looks like the symbol for Canadian Tire. Some of you may not even know what Canadian Tire is. Canadian, though, Canadian Tire and Tim Hortons go hand in hand. Not that they're always put together, but you see a lot of Canadian Tire stores. Basically just a hardware store. It has other things as well. So it's kind of like a Walmart. It's kind of like a hardware store, kind of like a Home Depot. Canadian Tire. Canadian Tire, though, would have been a red triangular piece like this, and they would have had like a green maple leaf in the middle. What we get, though, instead is sort of like, it's not really, again, a foot symbol, but it's kind of like what goes hand in hand with like the foot soldier, well, with Shredder. Shredder has something somewhat similar there on the front of his chest. The head itself is all cast here, of course, in purple plastic. They've gone in there and painted nicely, though, the yellow eyes. Then he has a top piece. Now, the top piece is attached to, like, essentially his armor, even though really you could remove it if you wanted to and just take that off altogether. Is separate, really technically a separate piece. The skirting is also something that's separate, too. I will say as a takeaway, the arms seem very long on the foot soldier. I mean, if you were to compare it like with the regular Shredder, he does seem, though, like he has much longer forearms. He also does have these guards. Now, these guards never really stay on his arms at all. You could take them really off if you want to, just slide them off altogether. You could maybe use them for a Shredder if you wanted to instead. I wish really that these could have stayed on a little bit better. Not that I really would have wanted to have these straps, because, you know, with straps, they're always a hard thing. You always feel like you kind of go back in there and have to keep tightening them every single time. But again, short of just these always being loose, I do like the colors that they chose here. So you got, again, the traditional purples of the foot. You got the green there for King Hiss, green legs down below here. And again, like you got the same colors of shin guards that he does have for the gauntlets. Overall, it's a nice looking figure. This would be one figure, though, I would really like to have army builded. Unfortunately, though, like the figure, finding this guy in the wild was, again, next to impossible. I ordered this one, or bought this one from the Facebook selling group. I paid probably like $45 or so for it, which I think really for the fact that you get as many things as you do, and the fact that he can then be changed into King Hiss. But I know, like, with just to order this guy online, there are some sites that currently show this as a pre-order where he hasn't yet even dropped. It says June 2025, and then the sites are selling him for around $26. So, you know, if you can get him for the retail price, well worth, I would say, the investment of getting multiples of these. Because I don't think King Hiss is going to be a figure that's going to drop in price long after the Turtles of Grayskull line has ended. Now, again, for the articulation, though, for the foot soldier, standard fare here. So the head's going to be on a ball joint. It does rotate. One thing, though, I noticed is that the post doesn't seem like it's almost long enough. So when I'm putting, like, the head down all the time, I feel like it's on there fine until I go to start to turn the head, and then the head just pops off frequently. Normally, though, I would be able to say, like, the head would be able to move up and down, but, like, it's one thing if you've had this figure, you already kind of know the frustrations. The head never really does stay properly in place. Some of it may have to do with the fact that the head is just so large. I think a lot of it really has to do with the fact that the post is so short. I'm not going to keep doing that for the rest of this review. Standard waist articulation, so of course that's going to move forward and back. His arms are going to rotate forward and back as well. You can also bring them out. Not really quite fully at a T pose. This arm is a little tighter. This one, I guess, could pull off a 90-degree angle bend. There's a swivel here in the forearm. There's an elbow bend, again, with the configuration that we have right now. And the hands rotate forward and back. King Hiss's legs, as a foot soldier, split out as far like this. The lower legs, by the way, are something that we're going to be keeping. We're also going to technically take and keep the torso. We're just going to kind of take the armor off. But the legs move forward and back. They are a little limited, granted, because he's got the skirting over top of it. The skirting, though, we will do away with in a second. The legs do have a standard knee bend, so nothing new there. Legs rotate forward and back. And he does have articulation up and down in the ankle. You can rock it back and forth there as well. Of course, he does have peg holes on the bottoms of his feet if you so choose to use them. But all in all, though, like, the foot soldier looks good. If you are collecting, of course, the Turtles of Grayskull line, maybe with the prices, maybe they may start to drop, being that we're now moving into the Thundercats Master Universe line. There's so many collaborations that they have planned. Of course, we also have the WWE, a world of the WWE as well. But yeah, I think if you could start to get these guys at a marked down price, I would be very, very tempted to get at least maybe 2 more, where I can have like foot soldiers displayed on either side of the shred, and then have one of them obviously displayed and configured to be like King Hiss. Speaking of the configuration, though, of King Hiss, like I said, he does have, again, multiple component pieces. He has the upper torso piece. He has some additional arms, all of which we will be discussing in a second. Now, as for the actual arms, if you look at them, so this essentially is going to be a piece that's going to go on top. He has then, if you look at him, like 2 separate serpent heads in the gold, and then he's got some additional ones in green. All of these, surprisingly, do have mouth articulation. I really wasn't expecting that at all. It's almost as if they really spent a lot of the budget with the figures like wrapping up the line, because figures prior to that would not have had this level of posability. So again, like you can move the mouths around, you can also rotate these back and forth, and even like the arms themselves can also move forward and back too. I do love the gold that they've used here. That's really nice gold. I don't think we've actually got much of this really with the other Turtles of Grayskull line, even for that matter. Have they used it much at all with the Master Universe figures? I don't know. But either way, though, a really nice looking head sculpt, well, really nice torso piece here. You also get, again, these arms. Now, these arms are going to snap really on the side of really what he has right now. So we're going to take these arms off. We're going to be replacing it with these, right? These are all cast in green plastic. Again, you can get in there and you can open and close the mouth. Like if you look at this and you look at these, the heads are very, very similar. Let's actually close the mouths. Very similar, identical perhaps. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not faulting at all that Mattel chose to use the same heads if it means that we get as many things as we do. Okay, the one last thing he does also have, though, is a really neat looking mouth. Something certainly I would have expected to see in like Cobra, maybe even like Serpentor. But the mouth does also open and close for this. The only thing he doesn't have, though, is any head articulation. But really, though, that this piece is going to attach onto the ball joint of the foot soldier. So that's going to be where you're going to get your posability there. Just to show you guys what that head sculpt looks like, they've really gone well in there and painted the tops of the fangs. If we actually open the mouth again, get in there. There we go. They've painted the tongue. They've also painted the bottom of the teeth as well. And they've painted the crest in green. Nice looking head sculpt. So to disassemble everything that we've got going on here, it's usually best to kind of just take the head off first. That's going to be an easy thing anyways. You can take the skirting off, or the top shoulder piece, take that off also as well. Also, when you do remove this, it gives you a chance to kind of see the snake armor detailing underneath, almost like he was hiding that the whole time. I think that's a nice little feature. You can also go ahead and just remove the arms. You don't need those either, so we'll just pop them off on both sides. And we can also go ahead, too, and we can just split it like a lobster tail. Just get the lobster juice everywhere. And we're also going to take this piece off. We don't need the skirting anymore. So what we have left behind is a pair of legs. We've got a torso. The torso we're also going to disassemble, too. I suppose you really could leave this on if you want to, and then just go ahead and take the torso piece, snap it on that way. But to get the look that it's supposed to look like, we're going to go ahead and take the armor off. Now, the armor is strapped on the side. I don't personally like doing this a whole lot of times because I know eventually this is going to happen. I'm going to probably rip this, or I'm going to probably rip the connecting pieces. So kind of get in there with your finger as best as you can, and sort of just like pry the pieces apart from one another. Again, once I do this time in this review, is probably the last time this is going to be done to this figure. I'll do it on one side, do it on the other. There we go. And then you're just going to take the armor piece off altogether. You're really not going to have a place for this once you've done everything I'm doing right now. And then you have this snake piece. So like this is the front of his body. You can kind of tell by the fact that there's the heads on the sides like this. And of course, he's got a serpent that's wrapped around the front. He's snake everywhere. From there, we're going to go ahead and maybe what we'll do is we'll attach the torso piece. So this just snaps in place like that. So now, again, you've got the consistent look of the gold, and then you've got some nice green on the side. The green will also give you the suggestion, too, of where the arms are supposed to go. So kind of just move these arms out of the way. Take these green arms, snap them on one side, and snap it on the other side. It gives you at least the clues of telling you, okay, well, there's green here. Where are these arms supposed to go? Well, the arms are green, so we'll know to plug them right there. So you got arms on the top, arms on the bottom. Then we're going to take the torso, the lower end of the torso, snap it in place, the legs that is. And now you've got this piece. The only thing that's really left then to do is to take the head, and the head's going to plug onto the top. Where it only loses the illusion, though, is in the actual head. Just because, like, if you look at the size of the neck and then you look at the size of the torso, one doesn't really quite jive with the other. It looks a little oversized, but the end result, though, is a really cool-looking King Hiss. Of course, now you've got all these extra foot soldier parts. So really, what are we going to be doing with these extra foot soldier parts? They're just going to go in a bag because there really isn't a place for these. I suppose you could probably use these maybe if you want to customize another figure, if you want to kind of go back to Shredder, for example. Maybe, hey, why not? You could also use some of these parts with a Shredder, customize a figure that way. But to show you guys how the sizing now changes, just getting the stand, he's a little more top-heavy. Bring back in now the leader. He isn't so much now the leader anymore. And here's what he looks like next to the Shredder. So there's, you know, again, like that much taller of a figure. I mean, he goes to really about like the green arm area of King Hiss. So the figure is now quite a bit taller. Of course, now because we've also added some additional parts, we've also tacked on some additional posability. So now with King Hiss, with the state that he's in, unfortunately, though, his head's a little on the loose side, but the head does now have a full freedom to move all the way around. You couldn't do that before with the foot soldier. The mouth, again, can open and close. You've got articulation here for the shoulders. You can move those back and forth. You can also rotate these. Those move back and forth. You can also open and close the mouth. So what I've just now done here, take that idea and multiply it by 4, because you're going to be able to do the exact same with all the other arms as well. There's now a waist swivel. Not really so much a ball joint. Even though it really does work like a ball joint, you can't do too much, though, moving the torso up and down. More so just back and forth. He still rotates forward and back this way. And again, like the leg articulation is going to stay the same. So there's nothing really new there. But man, oh man, King Hiss is a really awesome looking figure. One that I definitely had to add to my collection, whether the line was ending or not. Yeah, he is a little on the top heavy side, but he's well worth the price of picking this guy up, whether you go the route of getting him in the aftermarket, or if you're lucky enough, like again, like some of the sites right now have a pre-order of this guy showing for June 2025. Like we're within that month right now. So you probably could get this guy for retail price, whether you find this guy in brick and mortar stores, or if you probably go the route that I would have to go if I want to get any more of these. Here's again what he also looks like with Robot Krang, just to give you an idea of how much taller now King Hiss actually is. Why not? We'll bring back in Shredder there too. Dropping in June. This guy's going to sell for $25.99 online. That's U.S. prices, by the way. I didn't pay that, nor did I actually buy this from an online site. Well, I guess technically I did. I bought this through the Facebook selling group. I got it still, I thought, for a pretty good price. Like it was a little over 40 for the fact that he changes into what we see right now. Granted, though, I have like all now these extra parts. I don't really know what I'm really going to be doing with these. But though, what I might just end up doing is now that he's going to be dropping on an online site for, you know, figures and collectibles, for the $25, I might see myself getting another couple of these. One then to be displayed as King Hiss, 2 then to be displayed as foot soldiers, either be on either side of the Shredder, or maybe perhaps their new leader, King Hiss himself. The ending of the Turtles of Grayskull line is a bit bittersweet to me. I mean, we've gotten so many notable characters released, not only under the Master Universe, but also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. This is, in this case, a combination of obviously both, because on one end, we have the original form, the concealed form of King Hiss, posing as a foot soldier. But then on the other end, when he fully reveals himself, you get a figure that looks very cool like this. You know, it really is a disappointment that I didn't get the chance to grab myself a King Hiss at the time of doing a review like this, because I really would have loved to have the chance to bring in the Origins King Hiss to show you guys the differences there. Granted, with all of these figures, and it's always been the case with the Master Universe Origins, that you can take the parts and swap them around. If you like some of the things that King Hiss is doing right now and would like to maybe do that with another figure, easily just pop and swap. That's the whole thing that's made this line such a success. Master Universe has done that. The Turtles of Grayskull continue to do that. And we will be looking forward to doing that as well with the stuff that we're getting under the Thundercats banner as well. Now with this figure, he's not going surprisingly for that high of a price. Looking online, and again, this guy's going to be dropping sometime during June in 2025, so like we're within that month right now. Most sites are selling for $25. He's not seeming to be going for the prices of what, like, for example, a Slacker. A Slacker, I think, is going for a little bit more in price because he was a bigger, bulkier figure. But then when you start to add the parts to King Hiss here, you start to kind of add up the cost, and you think to yourself, It's surprising that this guy was selling for the price that he is. Now, he is still more, though, than a regular Master Universe figure, but not really by much. So it does give a chance for collectors now, knowing that this guy is going to be available soon, to go back, buy a couple of these, and not all of them have to necessarily go on your shelf looking like King Hiss. Some of them, in fact, can be army built and have them displayed as foot soldiers. The foot soldier, though, unfortunately, and you can understand now why, he doesn't have any accessories. He doesn't come with a sword. He doesn't come with, any melee weapon. But you can kind of understand why they couldn't, because so much of the budget went more so into the disguise that he was concealing inside. What do you guys think of King Hiss? Let me know down below in the comments section. Have you guys had the chance to pick this figure up? Or is this one that's definitely on your radar? Are you guys also excited as well that we are going to be getting a Thundercats Motu line? Or are you also a little disappointed that the Turtles of Grayskull line, as good as it was, has to be unfortunately ending to move on to the next? If you guys also did enjoy this video, do it a solid and throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. Went for the dramatic pause there. Yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure to turn on the bell. But the most important thing is coming back. We may be wrapping up things right now for stuff that's Motu, but there is stuff still coming your way for the rest of this week. So as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.